Hello, it's been a couple of weeks since we spoke about AI, especially AI in the gaming industry. An article came out about a week ago now by Wired, who did an investigation into companies such as Activision Blizzard regarding if they are using generative AI for game development. I'm a little bit late to this, as I said, about a week ago, but if you haven't seen any of this, then I'm going to go over it, so stick around. So, the information that I'm going to be giving you today comes directly from an Activision artist who received an email. They said that when they received this email, a wave of anxiety hit. This was back in spring of 2023, and the email was from Chief Technology Officer Michael Vance. The email basically went over how artificial intelligence was top of mind at Activision at that time, and systems were being tested. It's now been revealed that back in 2023, Activision were using AI for the Call of Duty series. Previously, they'd been using AI tools such as Midjourney and Stable Diffusion to produce concept art. Obviously, whispers around the office and the industry in general were going around regarding whose jobs might be replaced by AI. Executives see reason for excitement, but many artists, writers, designers, and musicians see a direct threat to their livelihood. Then, as many of us know, jobs started disappearing. Activision laid off an insane amount of their developers. Approximately 1,900 employees were laid off out of the 22,000 people in their team. And it's not just Activision. This article focuses on Activision quite a lot. However, it has been said that a survey was conducted at the Game Developers Conference, and it found that 49% of the respondents said that their workplace used AI. And that's those that were confident enough to say this. There's probably a couple that also weren't very truthful, so let's for argument's sake say that maybe it's something like 55 to 60% now of companies in the gaming industry who are using AI. I feel like this is something that's been kept very on the low, very quiet, but as we can see, it's definitely here, like right now, it's happening. Companies are using AI in the gaming space. Now, for the past couple of years, we've been hearing that layoffs have been happening because companies were failing to meet targets, right? So therefore, this happens very much in the, not just the games industry, but creative and digital industries in general. This happened to me. I was laid off because the company wasn't meeting targets and they had to get rid of people. Roughly 10 people were laid off. I was one of them. But it's now pretty much been revealed that, these people are being laid off dependent on whether or not their role can be replaced by AI. They're being cherry-picked. Can we lay off this person to save money? Because in the long run, we can actually just use generative AI to replace the role they once had. So it kind of seems like they're not being directly replaced, because I'm pretty sure the US especially has some legalities around doing that. However, they're just being laid off for other reasons, but then behind closed doors, they're being replaced by AI anyway, which pretty much, explains the motive. Job automation in general doesn't happen very cleanly. Historically, the impact is felt through de-skilling. More tasks are handed over to machines or a program, and employees who are laid off quit or retire because of AI and automation generally don't get hired back, and find it very difficult to find their way back into the industry. I can tell you firsthand, yes, this happens. I've been applying for jobs for 2 months now and only had 2 interviews. I've even gone as far now as applying for jobs that I am overqualified for just to get a role. I've been applying for entry-level and junior design positions just to see if I would get those, because it's an insane deal for the company I'm applying for, right? They get someone with 8 years of experience, but at the cost of someone with 1 or 2. And if I'm happy to accept that wage they're providing, then all is good. The graphic design industry, especially as well, is completely, I don't know the word to describe it, but it is so botched is the word. There are wages being put out for junior level roles that are identical to middleweight and sometimes even senior roles. I saw a junior position the other day that was offering 28,000 GBP, and then I saw a senior role offering the exact same amount of money. To put this into perspective as well, I was in a middleweight role and I received less than this a year ago. It is insane. So obviously I'm happy to accept a junior or another middleweight role, a role below where I was, rather than taking a step up to a lead role, because the money is the same and my responsibilities would be less than a lead role. So I'd be getting more money for doing less work. It's a no-brainer from my point of view. However, I'm getting declined for every single junior role I apply for because I'm overqualified. And they just slide your CV/resume into the no pile because they think this guy's overqualified, and if he finds a better position within a couple of years or even months if something crops up, he will leave us immediately, which is just not the case. I'm not the kind of person that will bunny hop between companies, but they don't know that, and I'm finding it incredibly difficult, and so are many other designers. Every single job posting that I look at has hundreds of applicants within a few weeks. Anyway, back on track. By July of 2023, Activision did reveal that they had access to ChatGPT 3.5, and they were ramping up the use of generative AI tools in creating concept art and their marketing materials. They also used generative AI to make cosmetics for Modern Warfare 3. Like, many players purchased an AI-generated skin for the game, and probably did it unknowingly. It was probably not disclosed until now that players were buying AI-generated skins. It's very clear that the artistic departments were hit the heaviest in this huge, Activision Blizzard layoff as well. The 1,900 people that got laid off, it is said that the teams that were hit the hardest were 2D and 3D artists. I think this is only going to get worse as well, because it was found that apparently the gaming industry relies heavily, more so than other entertainment industries, on generative AI to carry out tasks. Things like storyboards, character designs, initial renders, concept arts, and animations are much more dependent on generative AI, and there's estimations that generative AI may contribute to more than half of the game development process between the next 5 to 10 years. So it's very possible that by 2030, half of jobs in the game industry may be replaced by AI. The thing is as well, to end on, these companies care most about cost saving, sometimes more than quality, and this is very evident in the way that they are cutting corners and dodging the law to go about using AI. The US law insists that any work seeking copyright must have a human author. However, it's still an open question whether using unlicensed intellectual property to train AI system actually violates copyright, and in cases where an AI program receives the generative prompts from a human being, the courts have ruled against copyright protection. For things like concept art, character descriptions, or code that doesn't even wind up in the game, it's harder to determine what is out of line, what is illegal. It becomes a very grey line of how do you prove that it's copyright infringement. To end all this off, the article at the end goes on to say that not a single artist, illustrator, or designer that Wired spoke to during this investigation approved the use of AI. It was forced onto them by their bosses. Some of the workers took significant risks to speak out to their bosses, often trembling in their voices, afraid that asking about generative AI in the workplace would cost them their jobs. And a quote from someone in the games industry that Wired spoke to says, "AI isn't bad in itself. It's bad when the goal is to maximize profits. AI can be extremely helpful to solve complex problems in the world or do things that nobody wants to do anymore, but that's not what it's being used for. It's being used to take away somebody's job." And that's it. That's kind of it. If you want to read the full article, it is very long, but I've summarized it in the space of 9 to 10 minutes here. Just search Wired Generative AI Gaming, something like that. It will come up. Obviously this sucks. Many people already getting laid off. I myself have tried some generative AI tools to make 3D, 2D, and to even code. and they are pretty good. I have videos in the works regarding those. It's very scary stuff. So in the future, I'll be diving into tools that these companies may be using, so you can get a closer look at how well they perform. They're progressing incredibly fast. So yeah, that's it. All right, thanks for watching this one. See you in the next video. Goodbye.